Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. We're so glad you could attend. Come inside, come inside.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Expat Conversation with Michael Nolen. I want to say thank you very much for tuning in today. And as always, I want to thank the University of Guadalajara Institute of Innovation, Investigation, and Governance, which is headed up by Dr. Marco Antonio Cortez Gradado. I want to say thank you to him for allowing us to have this program through the university. Also want to thank you again to the Villa Monte Carlo Resort that allows us to film all of our shows here. It's on the north side of Lake Chapala, west end of town. It's a beautiful, beautiful resort. So if you're coming down and need a place to stay for a week or two, or maybe rent an apartment for a long time, Villa Monte Carlo is really, really nice. It's beautiful. Great restaurant, have pickleball courts, swimming pools, hot thermal baths. So just think about it if you're going to need a place to stay for a while. Really, really nice. I want to say thank you again to everyone for tuning in today. I have a very special guest, Victor Camarena Martinez. I got kind of close, didn't I?
Very close.
Thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you for the invitation, Michael. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Victor is Director of Education and Culture for the Lake Chapala Society, which is kind of, if you're not familiar with Lake Chapala Society, it's an organization that was founded maybe 60, 70 years ago in this area, and it is kind of the hub of everything around here. It's a very unique, it's not a club, it's an organization, it's a little bit of everything that helps expats and a lot of the Mexican people also. But Victor is head of the educational division, and they do have a lot of different types of classes that help us expats learn and be able to make our lives better when we do come down here. If it's just as we're snowbirds coming down for a couple of months, or if you're moving down here, you relocate, or if you're an expat and you've been down here for a couple of years, I'm sure you've heard of Lake Chapala Society. You may not have ever been there, but you need to go over there and get educated and have a lot of fun and enjoy all the things they do offer. So I'm going to be quiet for just a minute and let Victor kind of give a little bio, where he's from, how he got involved with Lake Chapala Society, and then we'll talk about all the different things they have to offer underneath the umbrella of education and culture.
Sounds good.
So again, thank you.
Again, thank you for the invitation. I'm very happy to be here and to be able to share with you what we do at the Lake Chapala Society. As you mentioned, my name is Victor Camarena, and I'm from Mexicali, the north part of Mexico, but I lived for many years in California, in Los Angeles. So over there I work for a nonprofit. So I have a long experience working in nonprofit world, particularly in education and HIV prevention, education, and linkage to care. So I work in different clinics, hospitals, in
the medical type industry.
In the medical, right.
You know my good friend Jorge Yepes, or George Yepes? He's a very, very famous artist.
Okay.
From East LA. He's a Chicano type artist. He was a graffiti guy back when he was young, but he became a very well-known artist, does a lot for Hollywood, the movie industry.
That's great.
And shout out to George. He's one of my favorite friends and great artist, but he's got a huge mural on St. Elizabeth's Church in East LA. He's got a huge mural inside City Hall of Los Angeles.
Nice.
As I mentioned, he does a lot for Hollywood, like when Frida Kahlo, the movie Frida was made by Selma Hayek. They couldn't get the Diego Rivera paintings and the Frida Kahlo paintings to use in the filming, so George painted like replicates or duplicates.
Wow, that's great.
And they use that. He's done that for many, many, many movies.
Okay.
Worked with Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez, Patricia Reagan, a lot of the biggies.
Los Angeles is a place to be.
Yeah, it is, and he's a big East LA guy.
Cool.
And so he's good friends with Cheech Marin, who owns the Cheech Museum of Chicano art. It's in Riverside. So if you haven't been up there lately, if you ever go to Riverside, go to Cheech. It's a beautiful, beautiful Chicano art museum.
Right.
So, well, thank you. I just knowing you from LA area, thought you might know George.
So yes, I work with minorities, particularly Latinos, African Americans, the LGBTQ community. Helping them to navigate the healthcare system. especially for migrants. Some of them
Sure.
were undocumented.
Very important.
They were very scared to access medical care. And in Mexico, it's not like in the States. Here, routine care is not routine. So for the migrants in California in particular, they were kind of afraid to go to see a doctor. So we helped them to really access and get all the benefits.
Well, thank you for doing that, because it's very, very important. I'm sure you helped many, many, many people.
We did, especially in the area of sexually transmitted infection, HIV and AIDS, hepatitis, education in general. But then COVID hit, and then that really changed my perspective in life, and I wanted to come back home. So that's what I decided to, after over 20 years in the States, to come back to Mexico. I live in Puerto Vallarta, and then this opportunity came.
I was there yesterday in Puerto Vallarta.
Oh, it's a great place.
Just got back.
But I'm not foreigner to the area. I went to college in Guadalajara. I studied mass communication in la
Okay.
Universidad Autónoma de Guadalajara. And interesting enough, I used to come to Chapala and Ajijic because they have 2 hotels there. So I used to come here for conferences and meetings, and never imagined that my life was going to bring me back here.
Full
time.
circle. Yeah.
Exactly. But I love the area. I love Ajijic.
Very beautiful.
Beautiful, the people are very friendly, and working at the Lake Chapala Society has given me the opportunity to work again with the community that I love and that I'm so familiar with, which is foreigners, majority Americans and Canadians.
Well, they could really use someone over there. Not that they haven't had a lot of great people and a lot of volunteers, but to have someone with your background, have lived in the States, lived down here, it's just fabulous. So thank you for what you're doing.
It helps. And also for me, it's easy to understand the challenges that expats faces here. Because even for myself, being Mexican, I still face the same challenges.
Well, you had the same challenges when you went, being Mexican, when you went to the United States.
Exactly.
You had the challenges, you conquered them, and now you're down here helping all of us.
Exactly.
So thank you.
So I'm very, very happy and grateful to be able to work on the capacity that I'm working at the Lake Chapala Society. As you mentioned in my intro, I'm the Director of Education and Culture, which is a lot. I mean, I really have the freedom to choose what kind of classes, tours, experience I develop, I program, and then I evaluate. So just to give you some ideas of what we do, we go from formal classes, like one that is very popular is Mexican Manners. That one expats love because it's only 2 hours class, but they learn how Mexicans behave the way we behave, and why it's difficult for a Mexican to say no, and why Mexicans say ahorita, which means now, but that now it doesn't have a time frame. So
Yeah, now it might be like, I'm going to be over to your house tomorrow or the next day, but it might be a week or two
exactly.
later.
It doesn't mean anything until you put a time frame.
Time schedules down here just aren't, well, there isn't one. If you're going to be there at 9 o'clock, you might be there at 10 or 10:30 or 11 or something, but and that's been very hard for me to get used to.
It is.
But
it's a big challenge for the expats
that's
to
part of the
adjust.
culture, and if we're moving down here as expats and we're living in Mexico, we have to learn to change and adapt.
Exactly.
So thank you for that. And it's a very good course. I haven't taken the course, but someone gave a presentation, some of your teachers, at another great program that the Lake Chapala Society is involved in is Open Circle on Sunday mornings. And they talked about the different things, the way we see them and the way that Mexicans see them. So that was very educational. So thank you for that.
And so that's one of the classes that are very popular. We also have Intro to Spanish. It's just an introduction to Spanish, basic, how to greet someone, how to answer the phone in Spanish, just basic. It's a quiz session. And then we have a Spanish in Action, which is a 2 months class, different levels. That's more specific. It's a formal class, very popular. Right now we have over 200 people
200
enrolled.
people involved, and it's just learning the things you need to learn how to say down here, and you don't need to learn how to write a contract to buy,
Yes, it's just practical, very practical.
basic Spanish to get by every day.
Exactly. Another class that is very important is Intro to Lakeside. In that class, we teach them how to navigate the area, Lakeside, how to go to the bank, where is the bank, where to buy bagels. All kind of stuff that expats are clueless, and they need somebody to help them and guide them on how to go by and do the things they need to do. That's a very popular class. We also have one that is very popular. It's getting you Jalisco. Jalisco is the name of the state where we are. Guadalajara is the capital. Jalisco is the state. So the name of the class is how to get your Jalisco driver license without losing your mind.
And it can be kind of difficult down here because I think I got mine 5-6 years ago in Puerto Vallarta, actually in Nuevo Vallarta, in the state, different state than Jalisco. But I'd had the director on my radio show a couple times, so he just let me come over and pay the money, take a picture, and walk out. A lot of people have to take the test. They've been driving for 40 years in the United States. They come down here, and the rules and regulations, the signs are different. They're in Spanish. Surprise.
It is.
But the pictures are a little bit different, and you have to know how to back in.
Exactly.
So these are things, but you all have great classes, and you educate everybody, and it's for very little fee, very little money for what you're going to get out of it.
Yes, the Lake Chapala Society is a non-profit organization. So basically what we do, we have a lot of free activities and some at a minimum cost. Of course, we need to survive, so we do have some fundraising activities. Mm-hmm. We have shows, we have tequila tasting, beer tasting, different activities to raise money.
You have a good restaurant in there too.
We just opened it.
Just reopened the restaurant?
Yeah, we just reopened it, remodeled it. Big opening will be on Monday, the 26th.
Of October.
October, yeah.
Okay.
This Monday.
I'll be there.
Hopefully you can join us. It would be great to have you there and your wife. So, as you mentioned, the Lake Chapala Society is not a club, it's a members organization. But we also offer services to the Mexican community. In addition to all what I just mentioned for the American community and expats, we have another arm to outreach to the Mexican community. We have a building, it's called Wilkes Building, Wilkes Educational Center. At that center, we offer English as a second language. So right now we have 260 people enrolled, Mexicans, and it's a minimum cost, it's almost nothing. But they're able to learn from native English-speaking teachers, which is great, because they really learn good English.
Even the Canadians
can
help out a little bit.
Yes, anyone who speaks English can become a teacher.
Well, they speak pretty much English.
Very nice.
I like to make fun of Canada because I've got a lot of good Canadian friends.
Well, the accent it may change a little bit.
A little bit, eh?
But as long as they can communicate, and living in Lakeside for a Mexican to be able to speak English is a must.
Very important.
It's so important. You can get a better job, you can make more money, you can survive better here in the area, which has changed thanks to the expats. But then, because of the expats, everything is more expensive.
That's true.
So it's kind of a gentrification of the area.
So the better educated you are, the more money people are going to pay you, the more you're going to survive down here.
Exactly. And then for the Mexican community, we also offer several classes in Spanish, of course. We have one coming up it's called Dad, Mom, We Have to Talk. All you wanted to know about sexuality. So, to start talking about sex in Mexico, it's a taboo. So many parents doesn't feel comfortable talking to their kids about sex. So we're going to have a psychologist to talk about the parents about how to open a conversation with their children and teenagers about sex, which not most, but a lot of Mexican parents are not very comfortable doing it.
Well, Mexico, the country of Mexico is predominantly Catholic, Roman Catholic. And a lot of times, I grew up in Roman Catholic schools, and they just barely touched it. And you kind of learn more back in the day from your friends. Sometimes your mom and dad might mention something, but it is very important to know about it because there's kids today, and maybe for the last 15 years, with the internet, with all the phones and all the information they can get down there, there's so much stuff that they can see, so they need to be educated and know what's right and what's wrong. Exactly. And not just about sex, but about a lot of drugs, alcohol, things like that, daily life, who to associate with, who not to. So that's a very important class, and I thank you
very
all for doing
important.
that.
And my role as a new director, I've been in this position for 4 months, is to really increase activities for the Mexican community, to really help the community to, for a better well-being, offering the tools to be okay. But then also we have fun. We have to have fun.
Oh yeah.
So
everything around Lake Chapala is fun, just about.
And culture. I mean, culture. You walk the street, you see all the painting, pottery. I mean, so blessed this area to have so many artists. In Guadalajara also. Last month I took a trip. I took 20 members for a trip to the Museo Cabañas, the Instituto Cultural Cabañas, Jose Clemente Orozco, murals. So they were amazed.
Did everybody lay down their back and look up into the dome?
They did. They took a lot of pictures, and they were amazed to see the quality of artists we have in Mexico.
Unbelievable.
So it's not just about formal classes, but also experiences. So we're going to be participating at the Gay Games in Guadalajara, coming up in November. So we're going to have a delegation of 45 athletes going to participate at the Gay Games. You don't have to be gay or member of the LGBT community to participate, as long as you're 18 and willing to meet great people and have fun and participate. So we were able to recruit 45 participants from Lakeside. I'm going to be doing the race, 5K race.
Is it age limited? I mean, from like 18 up, is it adults mainly?
18 to whoever wants to enroll. It's not really formal. It's just a kind of a gathering to have fun, meet people from all over the world.
It's like Viarta Pride Week.
Exactly.
Viarta Pride is one of the funnest weeks I've ever had. I used to interview the committee every year on my radio show, and that was the wildest hour interview you would ever want. You never know what was going to come out of their mouth. And it was just, we finally decided it was LBGT community. There was LBGY, then LBGYTZ. We just call it the alphabet people. That's what we decided to call it over there.
That's a good idea.
All us alphabet people.
I just put a plus at the end.
Yeah, just alphabet plus whatever.
Everybody's included.
I know there's a lot of art over there. I mean, y'all teach people how to do pottery, how to do ceramics, how to paint.
Photography.
Yoga. There was one class at one time these cell phones have such sophisticated cameras in them. And most people don't know how to do anything but hit that thing and take the picture. But you can change the pixels, you can change the speed. They're very, very sophisticated. And the university actually has classes in Puerto Vallarta about senior citizens. Anybody 60 years and older can come take all these free classes, about 35 different types. And one of them is just basically how to use the phone camera. So that may give you an idea, because a lot of these people are always taking pictures, but you can improve them, make them so much better quality if you just know how to push one button here or there or the other.
Absolutely, yes. So my role at the Lake Chapala Society is to offer all the different activities, from formal classes to experiences like going to a museum or having a chiles en nogada dinner.
I love chiles en nogados.
So all kinds of activities. So we want to keep our members informed, having fun, to learn about the Mexican culture, and to be able to communicate with the Mexican community and develop friendship and become a stronger community combining both cultures. So that's one of the roles that we have at Lake Chapala Society, and I'm very happy to be able to be part of it.
Well, there's some great leadership over there. There has been for many years. I've had both Steve Balford and Lewis, I guess chairman or director, president, whatever you want to call on the show. And I'm very happy to have you today, because you're one of the working bees. You know, they're kind of like the king bee, the worker bees. You know how we have to be down here, and you deal with it day to day to day. And it sounds like they've added some new programs, especially, and I'm really happy that they're working with the Mexican population, the children all the way up, because that's just going to make it a better community.
In fact, Halloween is around the corner, so we're going to have a big Halloween party for kids, for children.
Oh, that'd be great.
That will be Sunday, October 29,
okay.
2 to 5. We have about 250 kids registered. We're going to have like a costume contest and giving trick and treat around the area. So we kind of bring some of the American culture, but then the following day, we had the Day of the Dead ceremony. We're going to be altars. We're going to have
wow. Very
motivational speakers. So we combine both cultures in a way, and both cultures learn from each other. So that's very unique and beautiful.
Well, I'll be sure to try and come. If you don't see me, it's because I came as the invisible man.
Okay, good to know. So yeah, that will be a very busy weekend, but we're really looking forward to have these activities.
Well, it's really great that you're involving more of the Hispanic community, the local people, because we see each other all the time. I mean, the lakeside area isn't that big, and you're always seeing people. You might see them in a restaurant, and then next week, you know, the guy's driving your Uber for you, or he's working at one of your the place fixing your shoes, or at the bank. There's a girl that I kept seeing, and I knew her, but I didn't know I knew her because she's in my home little town of Isla Huacan. And then I finally realized, hey, she's the manager at the bank.
Oh wow!
And I never, if you don't put, you know, the two and two together, and you don't have a lot up here, it was hard for me to realize, hey, it took me 2 or 3 times seeing her to realize, hey, she's my bank manager as well as my neighbor. So maybe it's just a problem I have.
It's a small area. So it's beautiful to have this opportunity to get to know pretty much everyone in the area, but just being open and ready to meet new people, wonderful people. Here in the area we have amazing people living here, you know, from artists to an astronaut. I just met somebody who worked at the NASA, so I think who would imagine somebody, you know, with that qualification living in a small town like here. So, and that's part of the beauty that we have and the richness that we have at Lake Chapala Society, because a lot of our volunteers bring all this amazing experience, and they're able to share it with the community. So Lake Chapala Society has been kind of the bridge between the expats and the Mexican community.
Well, you mentioned an astronaut, a NASA astronaut living down here. There's a young girl that grew up in the town where I live, Isla Huacan de los Mombrillos. She's been to outer space. She's I think a physicist from Stanford University, but she grew up here in this little town. She's about 29 or 30 now, but she's been going to some of the different communities saying, hey, if I did this, you can do it, and helping educate and encourage and do everything she can to push the young ladies and the young men here in this area to get more education, to be able to expand on their life and learn and be world travelers. And not only is she a world traveler, she's actually been into outer space.
That's great.
So,
that's a wonderful role model.
Yeah, great role model. So, and there's a lot of, like you said, expats that come down here. They've got a lot of time on their hands. They don't work anymore. What am I going to do? Well, the social part of the Lake Chapala Society is fabulous, but they can get involved either taking classes, learning how to get that driver's license, learning more English or more Spanish or photography or whatever, taking day trips, like you said, but also they have something to give back.
Volunteerism.
And they can start doing that, so it works both ways.
And Lake Chapala Society wouldn't survive with all the volunteers that we have. The staff, we are a very small number of staff. There's like 14 people working. But we have like 350 volunteers.
Wow.
So there's no way we couldn't live without the wonderful team of volunteers that we have.
Well, if you've never been to Lake Chapala Society, it's a beautiful, maybe 6-block area, beautiful gardens. As we mentioned, a restaurant, a lot of classrooms. They have a library there. They have information booths. You can come in there and say, hey, I need to know how to do this or get to this place or whatever. Very, very great volunteers giving information, and they seem to be pretty darn educated on what, you know, if not, you ask them any question, they're going to find out an answer for you.
Yeah, we have a group of volunteers called the Amigos volunteers. So they are kind of the host or hostess. When somebody comes in, there's always somebody there to greet anyone who walks to the campus. And then we have the informational desk if they have any question about the area. And then, of course, we have the front desk for memberships. And then if they have any question about classes, I'm there. My coordinator is there. So we always there to help the community.
We mentioned earlier about one of the classes is how to get your driver's license and keep your mind.
Without losing your mind.
Without losing your mind.
There you go.
And it's different than in the United States in some aspects, but in some aspects it's not. And that course is offered, once a month. Once a month, and it is 3 or 4 hours?
So it is a 2-part class.
Okay.
So 2 weeks. It's always the second Wednesday of the month, the formal class, and then the third Wednesday of the month, I take them all the way to Chapala, to the Mexican DMV.
You have to find the
Secretaría de
office first of
Transporte.
all. It's not the easiest place in
It's
the world
not
to
easy
find.
to find the office, right. So at the class, we just have a class a couple of weeks ago, and we had like 25 participants. At the class, I teach them exactly what they need to do to be ready for the practical test. Going from basic, like what documents you need, and the DMV office here are very specific. So they have to have exactly what they're looking for. If there is a word that is not there, they're going to reject all the paperwork. So I teach them exactly what to bring. I give you some tips on the test. It's a multiple choice test. It's 10 questions.
We call that I call it multiple guess.
There we go. So 10 questions, you have to have 7 to be able to pass. And then if you pass, you do the driving test. But it's not like in the States. I remember when I got my license in California, that was a nightmare. Because, you have the instructor in your car, and they told me to drive on the freeway, and then change lanes, and then park in parallel, and go back to the DMV. It was like, oh my God.
Where the hell's that at? I've lost now. I've been on the 101.
To be honest with you,
Santa
I failed
Monica Freeway
twice.
for an hour.
So, but at the end, I got my license. Here is easier on that aspect. They just only ask you to park parallel, but the space is kind of small. So that's the process. So the first week we teach the formal class. I make them the appointment, and I also prepare the payment form and the CURP, which is a document that they need to have in order to get a Mexican driving license. I send everything via email. So my role is to really make it easy for them to get that license. And most of the people do get a license the first time. We have a few that failed, particularly the driving test, but very few.
Well,
and if they fail, they can come back the next week, and the next week, and then they pass.
A lot of them probably weren't very good drivers in the first place.
And
some of them don't need to have a license, or in their golden years. And I know the cars go over 5 kilometers an hour,
Right.
but a lot of times they don't. You get stuck back there,
But if you became a Mexican resident, either temporary or permanent, you have to have a Mexican driving license. Because I keep getting questions from people say, well, I have my California driving license, it's still valid. Can I drive in Mexico with it? If you're a tourist, yes. If you became a Mexican resident, you have to have your Mexican
Is
driving
that
license.
temporary and or permanent?
Yes.
Okay.
And the
well,
reason why,
that's something I never knew.
because if you run into an accident, then the insurance company, they're going to give you a nightmare to pay. Because what is your Mexican driving license? Like American or Canadian, they're not going to take it. So if you are a resident, you have to have a Mexican driving license.
Well, that's very important. I'm glad that you're offering that class. You said it's very, very popular.
Very popular.
I know that I've had a gentleman and his mother on the show that were both lawyers, and they were talking about wills and testaments, and they teach their class over at Lake Chapala
Are
Society.
they the Solvis?
Yes.
Maria Solvis
Yes,
and Diego
exactly.
Solvis.
She was
They're
on maybe
wonderful.
6-8 months ago and talked about wills and testaments and this, that, and the other. So it was a very important show. And like I said, that's what Expat Conversations is all about, is trying to help educate not only me, because I cheat, I learned a lot from here, but all the other expats. If you're just a snowbird coming down here 3 or 4 months a year, or if you're thinking about moving down here to this beautiful, beautiful part of Mexico and part of the world, very quiet, very peaceful, very tranquil.
The weather is
The
wonderful.
weather is just incredible. That's what brings so many people down here. I mean, it never really gets over 85, never really gets below 60, 58, 60, something like that. Very little rain during the year. We do have our rainy season, but it's about over now. A lot of art, a lot of culture, a lot of just great life, but it's a slower pace, easier, happy place to be.
And the food. I mean, we have
Oh, food, don't even talk. Look at me.
And if you need anything from the big city, Guadalajara is only 40 minutes, an hour away. And the airport is 40 minutes away. So the location is great.
And
We
you
cannot
all
beat that.
also organize opportunities for people to get in a van, go to Costco and
Yes, actually,
other
yeah.
places like that, Sears or Walmart or whatever those stores are that aren't local here, are over there. and they take a day trip and come back.
In fact, we have one in November about getting ready for Thanksgiving. So we're gonna take a big bus, and they're gonna go to Costco and all their stores to buy the stuff for Thanksgiving.
And then
so,
Christmas will be there.
And we're gonna do another trip for Christmas. So that's my role, to facilitate the expats and the Mexicans to really be able to live life to the fullest and in a nice, relaxing way.
Well, you're doing a great job. We really appreciate it. I can't wait to get over and help, celebrate the opening of the restaurant. Maybe the Halloween weekend if I'm not too busy over in Isla Huacan, because we have quite a celebration over there for Day of the Dead. And the other classes that you're offering, you can go online. The Lake Chapala Society does have a web page and a Facebook page. Would you mind giving out that information so people that are listening, tuning in, can go there and see what all you are offering and when they need to enroll? The class you may want to take may be booked up this month. You might have to wait another month.
And the beauty that the webpage has the calendar of classes until the end of the year. So they can register. If you are in New York, in Florida, you can register through the website, and when you come, you have your space confirmed. So yes, our webpage is lakechapalasociety.com. lakechapalasociety.com, and Facebook page is the same, Lake Chapala Society. So please follow us. You will find great information, ton of activities, and if you come to the area, you need to visit us. You will have a blast. It's a beautiful facility and wonderful volunteers, and you will find something to do, learn, and enjoy. That's for sure.
Well, they're open almost every day. What
Monday
are the
to
hours they
Saturday.
open? I know Monday through Saturday, but then you have Open Circle on Sunday, which is kind of a really neat, and then there's a lot of festivals. You just got through with a big 3-day art festival where they had over 70 different artists.
We just happened last weekend.
And the restaurants there in the mornings, you open up around 7:38 or whatever.
At 9. At 9
9
we open
o'clock?
the restaurant.
Well,
activities pretty much. 9 to 5. Sometimes we have evening events. So we have a bunch of activities, different kind of social, physical, intellectual, all kind of activities for everyone.
I know it's right on the lake, just north of the lake. It's not on the lake, it's just north of the lake.
Well, the backside.
The backside is
exactly on the lake.
is right on the lake bed.
The whole block.
And it goes up about 2.5, 3 blocks. But what are the side streets? It's right down from the plaza, isn't it, actually?
It is. So from the plaza, just walk down to the lake, and it's on the corner of 16th of September.
16th of September.
Right there, you will find it. And if you don't ask anyone, everybody knows
the Lake Chapala Society
exactly.
is.
There is no way to get lost.
So, well, is there anything else? We've talked about an awful lot of information this morning. Is there anything else that I haven't asked you that you want to make sure that you get out and help educate the people?
Basically, just an open invitation to everyone. So when you come to the area, do not hesitate to visit us. I'm sure you will find something great, fun, and interesting at our facility.
No, I'm sure they will too. Every time I go there, there's something different, a lot of fun. But it's a really cool place just to go, sit, and relax.
Wonderful gardens.
Very beautiful gardens. There's very nice, quiet little sitting places that if you just want to go and meditate and be alone. They also have some physical classes, don't they? Do they teach yoga or physical? Or
yeah, we have free weights, meditation, how to breathe, you name it. We have over 100 activities per week. So it is very,
well,
very
it's
busy.
the hub. Like I said, it's the hub of the whole community down here. And it sounds like you're even bringing in the rest of the Hispanic, the Mexican community too. So that's going to be even better in the future.
Definitely.
So, well, thank you very much. I appreciate all the information. It's been I hope you can take it all in. You might have to watch everything 2 or 3 times. But go to the website, go to the Facebook page. You'll be overwhelmed, really. Mm-hmm. But don't be scared. Go over there and just sit and have a cup of coffee or drink some iced milk like I do and some pastry. I remember the last time I went over there, maybe 3 or 4 months ago, to eat. The food was fabulous. Really, really was.
And now we have a bigger space. I think you're going to enjoy even more the new facility.
I ate everything except thank you, come back and see us again. Thank you very much, Victor.
Michael,
I appreciate it.
Happy trails to you until